heart of Angkor Thom, where history unfolds. Bayon stands with its faces bulb worn. The mountain temple, towering high, whispers of the past reaching the sky. From Bayon to Bapon, every temple grand, Angkor Thom's legacy carved in the land. With every name, a story to be told. Temples of Angkor Thom, in our hearts they hold. Pinyana cogs within the palace walls. Priya Palale, where the jungle calls. Prasats to our pride, towers standing tall. Echoes of the ceremonies remembered by all. From Bayon to Bapon, every temple grand, Angkor Thom's legacy carved in the land. With every name, a story to be told. Temples of Angkor Thom, in our hearts they hold. Pimina cogs within the palace walls. Priya Palale, where the jungle calls. Prasats to our pride, towers standing tall. Echoes of the ceremonies remembered by all. From Bayon to Bapon, every temple grand, Angkor Thom's legacy carved in the land. With every name, a story to be told. Temples of Angkor Thom, in our hearts they hold. Pinyana cogs within the palace walls. Priya Palale, where the jungle calls. Prasats to our pride, towers standing tall. Temples of Angkor Thom, in our hearts they hold. Through small temples, serene and quiet. Terrace of the elephants in the royal light. Terrace of the leper king, with secrets so deep. Clans wore a house and
emphasize his piety and humility. A sharp contrast to earlier Khmer kings who depicted themselves as warrior gods.
Okay.
This was a king who wanted to be one with his people.
So Angkor Thom, with all of its grandeur and symbolism, became like the embodiment of this vision.
It did.
But let's get to the heart of our deep dive here.
Okay.
The city's layout.
Right.
Keep seeing this term mandala pop up everywhere.
Okay.
What does that mean in this context?
So in Buddhism, a mandala is a sacred diagram, and it represents the cosmos.
Right.
What's fascinating is that the entire layout of Angkor Thom is designed as a giant mandala, a microcosm of the universe.
So if we're thinking of Angkor Thom as this mandala, how does that play out in the city's design?
Think of a square enclosed by these high walls and a moat. That's Angkor Thom.
Okay.
The walls symbolize the continents. The moat represents the oceans.
Right.
And right in the center, you have the Bayon Temple, strategically positioned to represent Mount Meru.
Wow.
The mystical mountain at the center of the universe in Buddhist cosmology.
So they basically took this sacred diagram and made it three-dimensional.
Pretty much. They weren't just doing this for show.
Right.
By aligning the city with this cosmic order, Jayavarman VII is really making a powerful statement. He was reinforcing the idea that Angkor Thom was sacred, reflection of the universe itself.
So it's like stepping into this giant, tangible representation of their beliefs.
Yes. And then you have those 5 grand bridges leading into the city.
Oh, yeah.
Those seem pretty important.
They are.
And they have some pretty wild imagery on those balustrades.
Definitely more than just entrances. Each one is identical.
Okay.
And they're lined with these incredible carvings of 108 figures.
Okay.
Half gods and half demons. All locked in this epic tug of war.
Okay, what are they tugging on?
They're depicting the churning of the ocean of milk.
Okay.
A Hindu creation myth. A Hindu myth in a Buddhist city.
Yeah. It might seem strange.
It does.
But remember, religious boundaries were much more fluid then.
So is Jayavarman just trying to be inclusive?
It's more about the shared symbolism.
Okay.
You see, the myth itself with Mount Meru resonated with both Hindu and Buddhist beliefs.
Yeah.
And Mount Meru is represented by the Bayon Temple. Right at the heart of Angkor Thom.
I'm starting to see the bigger picture here.
Yeah.
Everything is connected.
It is. But there's one thing I keep coming back to.
What's that?
Those massive faces carved all over the city.
Yeah. Especially the ones on the towers above the gates.
Yes.
They're intense.
I know.
Who are they supposed to be?
That's the million-dollar question.
Yeah.
Even today, scholars are debating who they are.
Really? Yeah.
Whether they represent Avalokiteshvara, the Bodhisattva of compassion.
Okay.
Or maybe Buddha Vajrasattva.
Mm-hmm.
Some even suggest Hindu deities.
They kind of look like Jayavarman VII himself.
Yes.
From those portraits we saw. So is it possible they're both king and god?
It's entirely possible. And that ambiguity is part of what makes them so fascinating.
Yeah.
They invite us to consider how the people of Angkor might have interpreted those faces.
It's like we're trying to look through their eyes.
Exactly.
Understand their worldview.
Yes. But it also makes me wonder,
Yeah.
what was daily life like for those people?
Right.
What was it like to actually live in Angkor Thom?
Yeah. Most of the wooden structures are gone, right?
Unfortunately, they have vanished, including the royal palace.
But we do have some written accounts, right?
Yes. Luckily, we do.
To help us fill in the gaps.
Exactly.
I'm looking at Zhu Dagwan's account here.
Oh, yeah.
The Chinese diplomat
Right.
who visited Angkor Thom.
Uh-huh.
He describes these elaborate processions with palace women carrying candles even in daylight, musicians playing. It sounds like sensory overload.
It does. His account gives us a glimpse of a bustling city.
Yeah.
Full of life and activity. It's a stark contrast to the silent ruins we see today.
Right.
But it helps us imagine what it might have felt like to walk those streets.
Yeah, to hear the sounds, to smell the incense.
Exactly.
To be part of that vibrant culture.
It's like trying to breathe life back into those stones.
And it makes me even more curious about the specific structures within the city.
Well, let's move beyond the gates then.
Okay.
And get a closer look at what lies within those walls.
Good.
Starting with the bayon itself.
All right, let's do it.
As you walk through Angkor Thom, you'll find yourself kind of drawn towards the bayon.
Okay.
It was the state temple of Jayavarman VII. It's really a unique structure, unlike anything you've ever seen.
I'm trying to picture it.
Yeah.
Based on these architectural drawings.
Okay.
But I'm having a little trouble wrapping my head around it.
Right.
What makes the bayon so unique?
Well, imagine this labyrinth of galleries and towers rising up in a series of platforms.
Okay.
And crowning those platforms. You know, these massive towers.
Right.
Each one adorned with multiple faces.
Okay.
Gazing out in all directions.
So they seem to watch over the entire city.
They do.
And the expressions.
Yeah.
They're both serene and a bit unsettling.
Yeah, it's hard to describe.
And these faces, they're the same ones we see on the city gates, right?
Exactly. The ones that have scholars debating whether they represent Avalokiteshvara, Buddha Vajrasattva, or even Hindu deities.
You have this Buddhist king, Jayavarman VII, building a temple with faces that could represent a bodhisattva, a Buddha, or even Hindu gods.
That's right.
It seems like he was trying to create a space.
It does.
That resonated with everyone.
Yeah.
Regardless of their specific beliefs.
That's a very insightful observation. And it also speaks to Jayavarman's political savvy.
Oh.
Remember, he came to power after a period of instability.
Right.
He needed to unify his kingdom. And what better way to do that than to create this shared sacred space that incorporates elements from these different belief systems?
So it's like he's saying, we may have different paths, but we're all under the same cosmic umbrella.
Exactly. And the bayon goes beyond just visual symbolism.
Okay.
The structure of the temple itself is designed to evoke a sense of awe and disorientation.
Really?
Mirroring the experience of navigating the spiritual realm.
Okay, you piqued my curiosity here.
Right.
Walk me through it.
Imagine you're entering the bayon for the first time.
Okay.
You're immediately plunged into this dimly lit labyrinth of narrow corridors and galleries. As you ascend through the levels, you're surrounded by those towering faces, their gaze seemingly following you. It's mesmerizing and disorienting.
I bet that was intentional, wasn't it?
Absolutely.
That sense of being lost, of not knowing where you are.
Remember, the bayon is supposed to represent Mount Meru. That mythical mountain at the center of the universe. The journey through the temple is like a symbolic ascent of Mount Meru. A pilgrimage towards enlightenment.
So the experience of being in the bayon. Of feeling lost and then finding your way. It's all part of the message.
It is. It's not just a building, it's a journey.
Right.
A carefully designed experience.
Yeah.
Meant to transform the visitor.
That's brilliant.
Yeah.
And I'm guessing the carvings on the walls. enhance that experience too.
Definitely. As you navigate the Bayon, you're surrounded by all of these bas-relief carvings that depict scenes from mythology, history, and daily life.
It's like a visual encyclopedia of Angkorian culture.
That's right.
I'm looking at some images here. Battles, processions, people working in the fields. Even musicians and dancers.
They offer a glimpse into the lives of the people who built and worshipped at this temple.
So we see scenes from the churning of the ocean of milk. Reinforcing that connection to Mount Meru. And we also have depictions of battles. Probably referencing Jayavarman's victories.
That's right.
Over the Chams. And then there are these scenes of everyday life. Showing markets, processions. Even cockfights and games.
They had a sense of fun, too.
Yeah, they did.
It's a reminder that these grand temples were more than just religious monuments. They were really intricately woven into the fabric of daily life.
It's through these carvings, these glimpses into the past. That Angkor Thom truly comes alive.
It does. But, you know, I still keep coming back to those faces.
Yeah, I know, me too.
Do we have any clues as to how they were perceived by the people of Angkor? Were they objects of worship? Did they evoke fear, reverence, or maybe even a sense of familiarity?
It's difficult to say for sure.
It is.
We don't have any written accounts from the people themselves. But we can speculate.
Speculation is half the fun of exploring history.
That's right.
So imagine a farmer or a merchant walking through the gates of Angkor Thom. Those massive faces gazing down at them. They might have felt a sense of awe. A reminder of the king's power. And his connection to the divine. Or maybe, if the faces were meant to represent Avalokiteshvara, they might have felt a sense of comfort and protection.
That's powerful either way.
It is.
And it makes me wonder if there are other elements of the Bayon's design that contributed to that feeling.
One thing to consider is the play of light and shadow. So the Bayon's architecture, with the corridors and towering towers, creates this constant interplay of light and shadow throughout the day.
I see.
Imagine sunlight filtering through the galleries, illuminating those faces in different ways. Casting these eerie shadows that dance and shift.
Like the temple itself is breathing.
It is.
Changing with the passing hours.
Exactly.
And that must have added to the sense of mystery.
It would have.
And otherworldliness.
It would have created this atmosphere that was both captivating and maybe a little unsettling, enhancing that spiritual experience of visiting the Bayon.
So the Bayon is this incredible fusion.
It is.
Of architecture, art, and symbolism. All carefully crafted to evoke a specific experience. To transport the visitor to another realm.
And it's just one piece of the puzzle that is Angkor Thom. Remember, we've got the royal palace, the terrace of the elephants, so much more to uncover.
Okay, let's not get ahead of ourselves. Before we move on to those other structures. I'm curious about something else.
What is it?
We talked about the religious and cosmological significance of the Bayon. But what about its political role? How did it function as a symbol of Jayavarman VII's power?
That's a great question. The Bayon was not just a religious center. It was also a statement of royal authority. The sheer scale and grandeur, the intricate carvings depicting scenes from Jayavarman's reign, those omnipresent faces, that could be interpreted as representations of the king himself. All of these elements work together to reinforce his authority and legitimize his rule.
So it's not just about connecting to the divine. It's about connecting the king to the divine.
Exactly. And remember, the Bayon was located right at the heart of Angkor Thom, within the royal palace complex. Its central position, both physically and symbolically, reinforced the idea that the king was at the center of everything. The earthly representative of the cosmic order.
It's like the Bayon is this grand stage.
It is.
Where Jayavarman VII could showcase his power and piety.
That's right.
All while reinforcing his connection to the gods.
That's a great way to put it. It's a reminder that architecture can be a powerful tool for shaping perceptions and legitimizing power.
And it makes me think about how we use architecture and symbolism today to convey messages of power and authority.
Yes.
Our government buildings. are monuments.
Exactly.
They all serve a similar purpose.
They do. Think about the imposing facades of courthouses.
Yeah.
Or the grandeur of war memorials.
Yeah, right.
They're all designed to evoke certain feelings, to convey messages about power, justice, or national identity.
It's fascinating to see how these same ideas
I know.
were at play centuries ago in Angkor Thom.
That's right.
But for now, let's get back to the city itself.
Right.
We've explored the Bayon.
Yes.
But what about those other intriguing structures you mentioned?
Well, let's start with the royal palace.
Okay.
What secrets lie hidden beneath those ruined foundations?
So we've explored the Bayon, this incredible temple at the heart of Angkor Thom. But I'm eager to delve deeper into the city itself.
Okay.
We've mentioned the royal palace.
Yeah.
And I'm imagining it was quite impressive.
It was.
Even though only the foundations remain today.
Yeah. While we can't walk through its halls anymore, we can piece together a picture of its grandeur based on what's left.
Okay.
Imagine sprawling courtyards, elaborate wooden structures, all richly decorated.
Oh, yeah.
We even have traces of the royal bathing pools.
Can you imagine the view from those baths?
Oh, yeah.
Talk about a royal perk. But I'm also intrigued by this structure with a rather unusual name.
Oh, yeah.
The Terrace of the Leper King.
Right.
It sounds a bit grim.
The name is definitely a bit misleading.
Yeah.
It comes from a statue found on the terrace.
Okay.
Which some initially thought depicted a king with leprosy. However, most scholars now believe it represents Yama, the god of death.
Right.
He's often associated with disease and decay.
Right.
So it makes sense in the context of Angkorian beliefs.
Ah, so it's more about symbolic representation than an actual leper king.
Right.
That makes sense. But the terrace itself, beyond the statue, what was its purpose?
It was likely a platform for royal ceremonies and audiences, a place where the king could display his power and connect with his subjects.
Yeah.
And the carvings on the terrace walls are truly remarkable.
Oh, wow.
You see mythical figures, dancers, and scenes that some scholars interpret as erotic.
It's a fascinating blend.
It is.
Of religious and secular imagery.
It's a reminder that the people of Angkor weren't just focused on the afterlife or the cosmic order.
Right.
They had a sense of fun, too.
They did, yeah. And their artistry.
Yeah.
Their ability to capture such a range of human experience in stone is truly remarkable.
It is.
Speaking of artistry, we can't forget about the Phimianakas.
Oh, yes.
That pyramid-shaped temple within the royal palace enclosure.
Right.
It's one of the oldest structures in Angkor Thom.
It is.
Predating even Jayavarman VII.
The Phimianakas is a fascinating piece of the puzzle.
Yeah. What do we know about it?
Well, it's thought to have housed a golden tower.
Wow. A golden tower.
Yeah.
That must have been quite a sight.
It must have been.
What was the significance of placing it within the palace complex?
Its exact function is still debated.
Okay.
But it's likely associated with royal rituals and ceremonies.
Right.
Emphasizing the king's connection to the divine.
Right.
Yeah.
There's even this legend that the king would ascend this tower every night.
Wow.
To meet a sacred serpent who resided there.
Okay.
Ensuring the prosperity of his kingdom.
Wow, that's a really intriguing blend of the earthly and the supernatural.
And it reinforces that idea.
It does.
That even before Jayavarman VII, Angkor Thom was already conceived as a representation of the universe with the king at its center.
Exactly. The concept of aligning the city with the cosmic order was already present.
Right.
Jayavarman VII just took it to the next level with his grand vision for Angkor Thom as this giant mandala.
It's like each ruler added their own layer to this grand tapestry of symbolism and meaning.
So as we've seen, the symbolic layout of Angkor Thom is incredibly complex.
It is.
Reflecting the Khmer's cosmology, religion, and political ideology.
But it also speaks to their ingenuity.
It does.
Their artistry, their desire to create something
that
would connect them to the universe and transcend time.
It's not just a city.
Right.
It's a statement. And even though it stands in ruins today, it continues to inspire awe and wonder.
It does.
In those who visit.
Right.
And even in those of us exploring it from afar.
So as we wrap up our deep dive into the symbolic layout of Angkor Thom, what's the one key takeaway you'd like our listeners to ponder?
Angkor Thom is a reminder that architecture is more than just bricks and mortar. It's a language, a way of expressing beliefs, values, and aspirations.
And by understanding the symbolism behind its layout, we gain a deeper appreciation.
We do.
Not just for the Khmer civilization, but for the power of human creativity and the enduring search for meaning.
It's a reminder that every element, from the grandest temple to the smallest carving, was carefully chosen to tell a story, to create an experience, to connect people to something larger than themselves.
And that's a story worth exploring.
It is.
And sharing.
Definitely.
So for those of you listening, don't stop here. Dive deeper into the history of Angkor Thom. Explore the virtual tours. Read Zhu Dagwan's account. And maybe even plan a visit one day.
I highly recommend it.
It's a journey that'll stay with you long after you've left the city.
It will.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive.
Yes, thank you.
Into the heart of the Khmer Empire.
It was my pleasure.
Until next time. Keep exploring. Keep questioning. And keep those brain gears turning.
In the heart of Angkor Thom, where history unfolds, Bayon stands with its faces bold but one. The mountain temple, towering high, whispers of the past reaching the sky. From Bayon to Bapun, every temple grand, Angkor Thom's legacy carved in the land. With every name, a story to be told. Temples of Angkor Thom in our hearts they hold. Pimiana carves within the palace walls. Priya Palale, where the jungle calls. Prasats to our pride, towers standing tall. Echoes of the ceremonies remembered by all. From Bayon to Bapun, every temple grand, Angkor Thom's legacy carved in the land. With every name, a story to be told. Temples of Angkor Thom in our hearts they hold. Pimina carves within the palace walls. Priya Palale, where the jungle calls. Prasats to our pride, towers standing tall. Echoes of the ceremonies remembered by all. Bayon to Bapun, every temple grand, Angkor Thom's legacy carved in the land. With every name, a story to be told. Temples of Angkor Thom, in our hearts they hold. Pimiana carves within the palace walls. Priya Palale, where the jungle calls. Prasats to our pride, towers standing tall. Temples of Angkor Thom, in our hearts they hold. Through small temples, serene and quiet. Terrace of the elephants in the royal light. Terrace of the leper king, with secrets so deep. Clans, war houses where treasures sleep. Preside crone on the corners they stand. Mandala, they're the last temple so grand. Each one a testament to a time long gone. In the city of Angkor Thom, they all belong. From Bayon to Bapun, every temple grand, Angkor Thom's legacy carved in the land. With every name, a story to be told. Temples of Angkor Thom in our hearts they hold. Pimina carves within the palace walls. Priya Palale, where the jungle calls. Prasats to our pride, towers standing tall. Echoes of the ceremonies remembered by all. Of Angkor Thom, where history unfolds, Bayon stands with its faces bold but one. The mountain temple, towering high, whispers of the past reaching the sky. From Bayon to Bapun, every temple grand, Angkor Thom's legacy carved in the land. With every name, a story to be told. Temples of Angkor Thom in our hearts they hold. Carves within the palace walls. Priya Palale, where the jungle calls. Prasats to our pride, towers standing tall. Temples of Angkor Thom